Welcome friends to another Lord of the Rings video. Today we journey with Earendil. We will look at how his choices affect the world of Arda. It gives his son's daughter Arwen the choice to become mortal or stay elven, and Earendil tries to convince the gods to aid mortals against the first Dark Lord, Morgoth. Will they listen to his plea? Spoilers for the Silmarillion throughout. Let's get straight into it. Earendil was raised in the elven kingdom of Gondolin, a hidden city in the middle of Beleriand, and he was a half-elf. When the city was sacked by Morgoth, the first Dark Lord's forces, he escaped. Later Earendil married Elwing, daughter of the king Dir Ilishiel. Their love bore two children, Elros and Elrond. Yes, that Elrond. Later, Earendil began his voyage to search for Tuor and Idril, his parents, who had sailed over the sea. This was so he could learn their fates and bring the message of elves and men to the Valar. For this, with the aid of Círdan, he built a ship, Vingilote, the foam flower. Golden were its oars and white its timbers, its sails as argent as the moon. Earendil and his parents escaped the sack of Gondolin, a hidden city of the elves, at the hands of Morgoth's forces, so he will have witnessed firsthand what the Dark Lord was capable of, and perhaps that is the motivation behind his plea. Without success and his heart filled with longing, he returned to his wife Elwing. She bore the single Silmarils that Beren and Luthien had taken from the Dark Lord Morgoth. The Silmarils are in total 3 gems, highly prized of everything the elves had crafted. This news came to the sons of Fëanor. Their father was the Silmarils maker, and they were bound to it. They attacked Avenion, where Elwing lived, seeking it. They destroyed Avenion, though at the cost of 2 sons, Maedhros and Maglor, who lived and won the day. Aid did come from the elves, Círdan and Gil-galad, but not in time. Elwing, to avoid capture by the sons of Fëanor, cast herself into the sea with the Silmarils, leaving them empty-handed, and leaving her 2 sons without parents. But Elwing was not dead. She was brought up by Ulmo, one of the Valar, the gods of Middle-earth, and who was responsible for control of the oceans. He gave her the likeness of a great white bird, and the Silmarils shone upon her breast. She sought Earendil, and he saw her come towards him, as he was at the helm of his ship, as a star over the sea. She fell on the deck, and Earendil took her to his breast, and in the morning his wife slept beside him, in her own form. Maglor, who they feared had enslaved their children, took pity on them, and came to care for them. But, not knowing this, and seeing no hope, Earendil sought the Valar with his lady-love. With the magic of the jewel, they were guided to the Bay of Eldamar, the greatest bay in Aman, the Blessed Realm. Earendil was the first mortal to set foot in Valinor, and he went to the Valar, seeking their aid for men and elves, aid to fight against Morgoth. As he travelled, he found the Blessed Realm near empty. He called aloud in the tongues of men and elves, and none answered. He had come at a time of festival, which is why the elves were not around to greet him. Until someone stood upon a hill, and a great voice greeted Earendil. It was Eonwë, herald of Manwë, another of the Valar. Earendil alone was summoned before the powers of Arda. He held the burden of both elves and men. Manwë would not give punishment to him or his wife for coming to the gods' realm. The gods had removed mankind from the realm to grant them the gift of eternal peace, and Earendil with his half-blood had broken this in a way, and instead Manwë gave Earendil and his wife and their children a choice. Earendil and Elwing were both from a union of human and elf, and they would be able to choose to which race they would be joined permanently. Elwyn chose to be an elf. Earendil wanted to join mankind, but for the love of his wife, chose the same path as her. Being able to make that choice would later play a part in the choice given to Arwen, daughter of Elrond, when she wishes to be mortal like Aragorn. But Earendil and his wife Elwing would not walk amongst the outer lands again. Earendil's fate was to travel the great ocean on his boat. It was filled with a wavering flame, pure and bright by the gods, and on this journey he would guard the sun and moon. Elwing had a great tower built that would be visited by birds, and she learned their tongue, and they taught her to fly on wings of white and grey silver, and she would meet Earendil when he was due to return to Arda. And so the Valar listened to the plea of Earendil, and they went with a great host to Middle-earth. In the fight, Morgoth unleashed dragons that drove the host back with great thunder and lightning and a tempest of fire. In answer, Earendil came with all the great birds of heaven and their captain Thorondor, and Earendil slew Ancalgon the Black, mightiest part of the draconic host, and cast him from the sky to fall on the 3 active volcanoes of Thangorodrim, the highest peaks of Middle-earth. And so, thanks to the plea of Earendil to the Valar, for both elves and humans, Morgoth was overthrown and bound, and his iron crown was beaten into a collar for his neck. Earendil, with 1 Silmarils on his forehead, sailed into the sky, where the jewel shines as a star, and continued to fulfill his duties. Now, friends, I turn this over to you. What do you think to Earendil's role in Middle-earth? What would have happened without him? Have you flown aback a dragon in Morgoth's host? Comment down below.